What's going on, everybody? Welcome to GameFreak. This video is a little bit different. I'm not using a mic or anything, so you might hear a little bit of an echo. The audio quality might suck, but yeah, this is the way I started. There's nothing wrong with my mic or anything. It's just I wanted to do something a little bit different and talk about something a little bit different, and that is about the Evercade. You know, I've done a lot of Evercade stuff. But there's some things that I've never talked about when it comes to the Evercade. I always, I've been pretty critical about, a lot of things that Blaze does, that Evercade does. But I've never really talked about these cart updates. Now, before I even get going here, let me just say, I'm a big Evercade fan. I've supported it for, a little over a year now. I wasn't there when it first came out. I didn't buy it when it first came out. I bought the VS and the EXP like a week or so apart from each other, and that was like I said, a little over a year ago. Now, I did say, even in the unboxing, I believe in the unboxing video, I said, it doesn't feel cheap, but it doesn't feel, like awesome quality, like a PlayStation or an Xbox or anything like that. Like, you could tell it was cheaper, but I had no problem with that because, I paid $125 for it, and it was the premium pack. In fact, where's the premium at? Here, we'll lift the camera up here so you can see it. The premium is right there. Right there. Yeah. So that came with a couple carts. Whoa. Excuse me. That came with a couple carts and 2 controllers, and I think it was like $130, to be honest. I think it was $130, but you could also get the classic pack. I forget what the hell it was called, the starter pack, and that was $89.99. And that came with 1 controller and 1 cart. Now, unfortunately, nowadays, resellers have dove into the Evercade ecosystem. And I know it's not every site, but like Amazon, if you go to Amazon and look for like the premium pack that I paid like $130 for, it's damn near $200. And it sucks because you can see it's not sold by Blaze. It's these fucking resellers that just buy out everything and then they jack the prices up and they ruin it for everyone. That's one of the reasons why I got into Evercade, is because I do like my retro games. I love my modern games too, but I grew up, like, my first console was the Atari 2600. So I've been gaming since like 1982. So I do have a soft spot for retro gaming, and it's unfortunate that these resellers are just making it awful. I mean, you can't hide from these fuckers. I thought, with those guys jacking up Nintendo games, Sega Genesis games, Super NES games, Game Boy, all that stuff, I thought I'd be safe in the Evercade ecosystem. Well, no. They found it. And now they're jacking these prices up too. If you notice, if you want to get like a Evercade cart, if you want it at the $20, you better get it within that first week. Because after that, on Amazon, you'll see them for like $25, $30, $35. And a lot of times, they're not sold by Blaze. They're from a different, like, reseller store. So it's all bullshit. But anyway, when it comes to the Evercade, what I wanted to talk about was, I've said a lot of positives, but I need to get some negatives out of the way. And this might be a real unpopular opinion on my part, and people might not agree with me on this. So here, let me grab a cart real quick. What doesn't, here we go. I'll grab my favorite one. First off, this is a big problem. These, when it comes to quality, these cases, they never stay shut. Some of them do, but this one in particular does not. And that kind of pisses me off. But at the same time, I bought this for 20 bucks. I don't expect super high quality. The other thing that really pisses me off about this, and this is where people are probably going to disagree with me, but hear me out. There's been a lot of problems lately. I've read it online, I've watched videos. When people update their console, the VS, or their EXP, the handheld, they're having problems and their carts are bricking because it will also update the cart. Now, ever since these firmware thing, it just happens. Like in fact, I was watching a live stream of someone I subscribed to that covers Evercade. Ed, if you're watching, I'm talking about you. He was doing, I believe it was a Duke Nukem cart, and it bricked right there, because it updated and just bricked. And I was like, man, you know what? Evercade is known for being retro, bringing retro back. My thing is, and this is where people are probably not going to agree, if you want to stay retro, don't do firmware updates. I would be happy if the Evercade had no Wi-Fi compatibility whatsoever. We didn't have that shit back then. On your Nintendo, you got the cart, you put it in, and you played. You did the same thing on the Sega Genesis. Same thing on the Master System. Same thing on the Game Boy Advance. You didn't have the Wi-Fi thing. So as much as Wi-Fi is pretty awesome for like modern games, I don't think it belongs in the retro world. But that's just me. I don't think that it belongs in the retro world. I would be happy if they just eliminated that. And I know a lot of people would be pissed off because then they wouldn't get their game of the month and stuff like that, which that's a cool perk and everything. Me personally, I haven't been a fan of too many of the game of the months. That's why I own 0 indie hero carts, even though I do support indie game makers. In fact, I have tons on my PS5 that I downloaded, so I do support independent game makers. But I haven't been impressed with any of them on the Evercade. Maybe like 2 or 3. But anyway, my thing is, get rid of the firmware updates and stuff. I'd be perfectly happy if Evercade made like maybe a VS2. Yeah, a VS2. No Wi-Fi, no firmware, and hear me out. Backwards compatible. These aren't like the greatest like quality. These carts aren't. Let's face it. They're pretty much ROM dumps on a cart. Never said that they were like super high quality carts or anything, but they do the job, and you get the physical copy, and that's awesome. That's what really drew me in to the Evercade. But I'm just wondering, and for all you like tech people out there, I'm not real big on. I'm not a tech genius, okay? But I have ideas. Make a VS2 and make it backwards compatible. Have these carts, but also go another way with it. How about it can play one cart, then on the other side, have a disc. And maybe use like them small discs that the GameCube used. You can fit multiple games on them discs. It might jack the price up a little bit. Not much, because we all know that CDs ain't worth shit anymore. I mean, they're outdated, just like a cartridge is outdated. I mean, I know the Switch still uses cartridges, but like a different kind of cart, small cart. But why not? Why not try the small disc? Even if it's not backwards compatible, I'd be happy. Just make a VS2, use them small discs, no firmware updates. That way you don't have to worry about updating your cart, your CD, whatever. I'd be happy with that. And I know a lot of other people probably wouldn't be. Maybe some people would be. Maybe you're on board with me on this. But I'm just not liking these firmware updates. because that don't feel retro to me. And I thought Evercade was all about retro. Retro didn't have firmware updates. We just put the carts in and played. Same thing on like the PlayStation 1, the original Xbox. No updates, man. You just put that shit in and you played. And I think when it comes to the internet, as beneficial as the internet is and Wi-Fi, it brings no benefits to the retro community, in my opinion. Besides, that you can get like emulators and shit like that. But when it comes to like a system, I mean, is what I'm saying. Like it, why not just get rid of that feature? That's just my view on it. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know, man. It's just been eating me up because I think eventually this is going to come back and bite Evercade with all these problems that they're having with people's carts bricking and stuff like that. I think it's time to take a new route. It's been a good run, but I think it's time to do something else. I still want the physical copies, don't get me wrong, but maybe something without firmware updates. I think that could solve like a big problem right there. Do it right the first time. Don't need updates. And let me know what you guys think about maybe a small disc. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, I'm not ripping on it. Let me show you. I'm not ripping on Evercade at all. This is what I did with my VS. Let me move this chair. Yeah, so, yeah, see? My Evercade is right down there. Love the Evercade, man. Love it. I support it. Or them, I should say. I support Blaze. But something needs to be done because firmware updates, in my opinion, doesn't equal retro. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel a lot, and I greatly appreciate it. And until the next video, which will be with the microphone, game on, everybody.